Hey there everyone, Mazarok here, and today we are going to be covering the Venthyr Blood Death Knight Guide. Before we get started, any weak auras, anything you'd like to see or want is in my community Discord down below. Bloodstorm, the guild that I'm currently running on the Frostwolf connected servers. If you're a part of those servers, are interested to see if you are, you can check that out. There's a guild link down below. We're recruiting for all classes as well. There is a Twitch link. And please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. It seems like almost every day there's just more and more to talk about before a video, and I'm trying to get to it as fast as possible. But let's get into the Venthyr BDK guide. Now, we're not going to be talking much about raiding with Blood and Venthyr because all three other covenants do it way better, plain and simple. Where Venthyr's strength is, and has been since 9.0, is in Mythic Plus. Now, with the addition to the Covenant second Legendary, Venthyr has actually kind of fallen a little bit, because the Covenant Legendary really isn't that great when it comes to Mythic Plus and things like that. But that doesn't mean that Venthyr isn't still strong. It's just the other ones have all come ahead of it a little bit. But if you're gonna play any Covenant you want and you want to play Venthyr, you are not going to be punished for doing so. For playing Venthyr in Mythic Plus, because Swarming Mist is still a very strong ability, a very good AoE threat generator, a very good runic power generator. It's got a lot going for it. So, let's talk about the double legendaries. Of course, you're going to be wanting to make Crimson Rune Weapon. And for this build, we're not even going to be talking about rating at all, like I said. Crimson Rune Weapon, I made it on the waist, and I put Unity on my boots. This tends to be a very strong combination for where you're going to want things. Now, if you've never played Venthyr before, Swarming Mist is your Covenant ability. So a heavy mist surrounds you for 8 seconds in a full 360-degree arc, increasing your dodge chance by 13%. Would have loved for change that to parry, but whatever. Dealing shadow damage every 1 second to enemies around you within 10 yards. Every time it deals damage to you, you gain 3 runic power, up to a maximum of 15 runic power. So in an AoE Mythic Plus scenario, generally you're going to get 15 runic power every second. Very, very strong, and it deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets. And your Covenant Legendary, what that does there is when Swarming Mist ends, it deals shadow damage to 5 enemies. I wish this was more, and healing you for 25% of the damage dealt. That's why it's got the hard cap. The damage is increased by 2% for every 1 runic power spent while Swarming Mist was active. So a very good way for you to utilize this to the best of its explosive ability is on your first runic power bar, you're going to want to use Bone Storm as quick as you can, depleting your runic power and gaining a lot of use out of this, although you're not really using that for the healing. It's kind of, you're getting some redundancies within the build now that weren't there in 9.1. So whatever have you, that's kind of what it is. Although it does deal good damage, it's just you get those redundancies. That's why I wasn't playing Necrolord back in 9.1, because there was just too many Bone Shields charges that you were gaining, and it wasn't fun because you were just getting too much. But now with the builds and how it works now, it's a lot better with the double legendaries and all that fun stuff. This one here, you actually lost a bit. But funny enough, I've played all 4 Covenants in Mythic Plus, and some of my highest overalls has still been with Venthyr. You just don't gain as much utility as you do with the other Covenants. Defensiveness and things like that. But that's your Swarming Mist ability, so you're going to want to be using Dancing Rune Weapon, Swarming Mist, basically on cooldown. When Swarming Mist gives you a full bar of runic power, use it to hit Bone Storm and keep Death's striking. Plain and simple. Now, your Mythic Plus builds for talents before your 2-set, you're going to want to run Heartbreaker, Hemostasis. I prefer Blood Tap. Will of the Necropolis, Grip of the Dead, Voracious is eked out, and Bone Storm for Mythic Plus. Before you get your 4-piece, you can still run Relish and Blood if you want, but I would get used to Blood Tap. Now, once you do get your 2 and your 4-piece, you can start changing over to Tombstone. This would be more of a 4-piece change once you get that for Venthyr, because you don't have as many ways to keep up your Bone Shield stacks as Venthyr. But Still, if you want to do it at 2, you're not going to be punished for it. It is eking out, and it does reduce the cooldown of Dancing Rune Weapon by 25 seconds for each time you hit Tombstone. Very, very strong. So this is your AoE talent setup. That's kind of what you're looking at there. This is how I would absolutely work it. Now, when you're looking at Soulbinds, you have 2 solid Soulbinds for Venthyr. You have Naja, which gives you the Thrill Seeker, bunch of haste, and the Capstone Fatal Flaw. When the haste effect of your Euphoria ends, you gain 10 seconds of either Critical Strike or Versatility, whichever you currently have more of. So for me right here at 527 to 434, it is Versatility, which is a very, very nice thing to have. When you're looking at stats for BDK right now, haste is king, especially as you get more tier sets, and you want to be getting as much verse as possible, and then weaving in mastery and crit pretty much evenly. I'm still kind of curious as of now. I don't have a 4-piece if crit is going to start playing more of a part because of the amount of parries and things like that you're going to get, but I think it's mainly going to revolve around the cooldown of Dancing Rune Weapons for all of that. And then Theatar is another very, very strong one, although this is a little bit more defensive than Naja being offensive. Tubbins will give you a nice big mastery buff, which will give you bigger bone shields. You want to go into the 6% versatility each time that you cast Swarming Mist. Nice big damage boost there, and of course you get tea time, and so when you use tea time you get your 4-hour extra buff. So here I'm just going to use it now. I get 3% critical strike straight up, just there. You can get crit, haste, verse, or strength. Main stat, very, very strong ability, very nice to have. This is on a 1-hour cooldown, so if this is something that you do not like, after an hour you can change that again. I've been getting bad luck and getting a lot of crit on my paladin, so like every hour I've been trying to swap it and get strength or haste or verse or something. But this is kind of the abilities that you're going to want to go here. For Venthyr, your strong conduits, are going to be Impenetrable Gloom, which increases the dodge chance by an extra 3% and increases Storming Mist damage itself by an X amount. And Heart Strike, the Withering Plague conduit, is going to be your next go-to for potency conduits. Then when we get to endurance conduits, you're going to absolutely put in Meat Shield. This is with the tier set bonuses and everything else. This is your absolute go-to. Absolutely put this one in there. If you're not, you're missing out on a lot. Then you can swap over to either Hardened Bones or Condensed Animasphere. Both of these are very, very strong, but if you're not using Lichborn as a damage reduction cooldown and an extra leech gain, then if you're not hitting the button, use Condensed Animasphere. If you're hitting this button a lot, if you're hitting Lichborn a lot, don't use Condensed Animasphere. Plain and simple, right? And then Finesse Conduits, the 2 that you're going to want to use are Spirit Drain and Chilled Resilience. So let me just show you a quick opener for BDK. Now, of course, I have solely a secret technique, which I do not have active. But this is why I like Venthyr, and I have liked Venthyr from the start, is it's very easy. You use Dancing Rune Weapon as you're going in, hit Swarming Mist, Blood Boil, boom, you have just a ton of threat and done, and look at that. Runic Power's done, you throw down your Death and Decay, and while that's going, you just have so much going, and look at that, I'm easily hitting 20k, easy threat, not a problem going around, and it just really, really works out easy. And to me, this is the easiest way for you to gain a lot of threat all around. Very nice, very simple. Insatiable Hunger dealt 20% of my damage there. Swarming Mist dealt 15%. So this is going to be a lot of damage. This is a high damage, a high DPS. Now, excuse me, high DPS Covenant. Sorry, I don't know why that was difficult on the tip of my tongue. Although it does lose out to some of the other Covenants, but it's a lot of fun. And I find if you're having trouble with Snap Threat and you don't want to play Necrolord, Venthyr is a very, very strong option for you to play. It is very, very fun. You just get the redundancies and the amount of healing within Bone Storm and the Insatiable, but it does give you a lot of extra boost and things like that. And yeah. So that is the Venthyr Covenant guide. Again, I didn't cover rating. There's no point. Don't rate as Venthyr. Rate as any of the other 3 Covenants. You're just losing out on way too much by rating with Venthyr. But Mythic plus Venthyr is still very, very fun. Very high damage. and a little bit of redundancies, but very easy to gain snap threat. You open up a pull with Swarming Mist. Great times, easy times. So aside from that, thank you very much for listening to this video. This covers BDK across all 4 covenants. I have done the Night Fae, Necrolord, and Kyrian BDK guides down. I'll be posting links for all of those down below, as well as I covered a base kit for the Beginner's Guide to Blood DK. If you're wondering why certain things that I'm talking about are like, you know, what means what and things like that, Death Strike and all those fun little things, and you're kind of curious and just getting into the class, I broke down the entire kit baseline in a video, and I'll link that down below. Aside from that, I hope you guys are having yourself a great day, enjoying 9.2 as much as I am.